Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. A very warm welcome. Thank you to those who are joining in consciousness and to those of you who are listening to the recording. It's a real blessing to be here with you. So following on from our live stream last week, today I'll be discussing the subject of meditation as taught by Joel Goldsmith and drawing on a conversation I've had recently with Crystal Starr. Crystal is a meditation practitioner and teacher and the founder of starmindworks.com. She's not able to be with us here today, but I do have her permission to share snippets from our discussion. Hello Gloria, and thank you for joining us. Hello Assad, it's lovely to be here with you. Before I begin, shall we be still together just for a few moments and meditate together? Okay, let's just be still. Thank you. I'd like to focus this live stream today around the purpose and meaning of meditation in the infinite way, and perhaps how it differs from other spiritual teachings. So let me start by reading a short extract from chapter 2, Joel Goldsmith's book, God, the Substance of All Form. Hello Dusty, thank you for joining us. This is the book. It's an old version of the book. And as I say, I'm going to be reading from chapter 2. It's a whole page, but all of it's relevant here. So Joel says, Hi Donna, thank you for joining. The purpose of meditation is to gain a conscious awareness of our oneness with God, that we may come into an actual realization of the truth of being. Although successful meditation requires silence and receptivity, never try to still the human mind. Never try to stop thinking or attempt to blank out your thoughts. It cannot be done. When you begin to meditate and thoughts of an unruly nature come, let them come. Do not be disturbed by them. They are world thoughts, not yours. Take the attitude of sitting back and watching them. See them impersonally. Soon they will no longer disturb you, and you will be able to sit down and be at peace. There are many schools of thought as to the proper method of approaching meditation, and for the beginner there probably should be some procedure or method outlined. If it is to remember that in meditation our whole attention is to be focused upon God and the things of God, it will readily be seen that in sitting down to meditate, it is wise for the body to be in a comfortable position so that the attention is not unconsciously drawn to the body. Always remember, though, that the posture assumed is not important, nor the method used. Any procedure adopted is only for the purpose of making it easier to hold the attention on God, our consciousness, and to become consciously receptive to the infinite power of your own consciousness. So when Joel uses the word God, he's referring to consciousness. And as you can see, for him, meditation meant ultimately living in continual awareness of our spiritual self, which then outpictures as harmony in our experience. So in my conversation with Crystal, I asked her whether she could talk us through any suggestions she might have about how someone can begin incorporating meditation into their daily life, especially when it's completely new to them. And I'm going to read to you her reply. Crystal said to me, "That's a giant topic, Heather. There are lots and lots of obstacles to meditation. And each one is going to be different because each person is different. And that is why I would always suggest learning and practicing with a professional, experienced tutor. However, let me give you a good place to start," she said. "Humanly, we live for the most part on autopilot, led by habits. Habits are incredibly powerful. If we understand and accept this, we can either use habits for our benefit or our detriment. Habits are hard to break, but if we take things very slowly, we can create new habits, bringing meditation and mindfulness into our lives." She went on to say, "One of the things you mentioned in our video in relationship to meditation and mindfulness," and she's referring to a video that she and I did together, and I've linked that in the description. So in our video is mindfully eating or mindfully walking through a door. And that's a practice that Joel suggested, which we discussed in her video. She said, "That's what I call a trigger. You set a goal and you have triggers that work for you. One of the best ways to keep on reminding yourself is to join a group that supports your practice, like yours, Heather." And she's referring to our daily meditation group on WhatsApp, which again I've linked in the description. "It's certainly one of the main reasons why I created starmindwork.com," she said, "to help people utilize that for their benefit." Does anyone have any comments or suggestions or questions that they'd like to raise at this point? Any thoughts? No, clearly not. Crystal also mentions in her YouTube channel about the power of simply savoring the moment. And I've included the link to her channel in the description. Meditation doesn't have to be difficult or arduous. We can simply pause for a few moments just to be still. And I'd like to share with you Joel's experience when he first began meditating. And this is from the chapter, The Discipline of Knowing Truth, in the book, The Only Freedom, which is not that one, this one. It's a recent copy. It's a whole page, but I want to read all of it to you, perhaps to reassure those who have felt that nothing's happening very much despite their meditation. So I hope this encourages you. So let me read it out now. Joel says, "My first experience with meditation came as a result of the realization that meditation was the way of life for me. I also realized I knew nothing about meditation, so I tried to meditate. It took me 8 months. I practiced never less than 20 times a day, anywhere from 2 to 5 or 10 minutes at a time. In all that time, I had no response. Nothing at all seemed to be happening. It was just as if I had wasted 2, 3, 5, 6 or 7 minutes, but I was determined to keep it up. For years, I have lived from day to day and week to week, one year following another, with no change taking place. Nothing happened. Something to be introduced that was not there before, and not knowing of any other way, I was determined to try meditation. So I stuck with it for 8 months. But at the end of 8 months, I had my reward in the first experience of the tiniest flash, far less than a second, of something happening. I could not tell whether it was a flash of light I had seen or the flash of the presence going by. But something happened in that second that gave me encouragement to go on. From there on, it progressed slowly, very slowly, probably once in a day or once in 2 or 3 days. Something would happen to make me feel I was on the right track. That went on for a long time, until gradually the time came whenever I sat down to meditate, I could be assured that before I finished the meditation, there would be a feeling of presence. If nothing else, there might just be a deep sigh, a release from whatever was bothering me, and all was well. Remarkable changes took place in the outer world as the presence became a living experience. My mode of life did not change immediately. I kept on in the same pattern, with the exception of the meditations, but I can assure you that I kept the meditation going. Then that meditation, evidently acting as the presence going for me to make the crooked places straight, began transforming the outer world. Isn't that hugely reassuring? So for Joel, being consistent with his practice gradually transformed his life, as you've just seen, but he certainly had to work diligently with the principles. Glorian's just left a comment. Thank you for this important reminder of the importance of meditation and the practice of consciousness, mindful awareness of presence. Thank you, Glorian. And also persisting with it, even if you don't appear to be seeing results or harmony in the outer world straight away, which is what I want to go on to talk to you about now, because Joel faced great difficulties in the early days of his practice, and at one point he was even living in his car. So I asked Crystal, can you talk us through any suggestions you may have about how we can embrace meditation even when it's hard for us to keep the mind still, especially when we're worrying about external circumstances? And I'm going to read to you her reply. She said, one of the most common obstacles in meditation is stilling the mind. That's why it's a great idea to practice meditation as a regular habit. The human mind does not like to focus. It likes to jump around, worry, think about the past, project into an imagined future, and it will do so until we create a new habit. So, given this, when we sit for meditation, she said, and we're new to it, it's wise to have a strong point of focus. We also have to accept the fact that the mind is very likely to wander. This is part of the learning process and training to bring the mind back to our focus point. And our focus point in the infinite way is, of course, our awareness of ourself, our spiritual self. Joel tells us time and time again that the whole purpose of persisting with our practice is so that we can eventually reach a place of continually being a beholder and resting in the silence within us, and then receive the blessings from that. But he is very clear that it takes discipline, because we've been so conditioned to react to our thoughts. So I'm going to read you one final quote from chapter 7 in Practicing the Presence. Here we are. This is a recent copy of the book. And this is the chapter on meditation. I believe it's chapter 9. Let me just check. No, chapter 7, beg your pardon. Just a short quote. He says, "The secret of meditation is silence. No repetitions, no affirmations, no denials. Just the acknowledgement of God's allness, and then the deep, deep silence which announces God's presence. The deeper the silence, the more powerful is the meditation. The things that are holy, keep them sacred, and keep them secret. There is nothing of a sacred nature that we need to share with anyone. Everyone is free to search for God in his own way, and must himself make the effort to find that for which he is seeking. There is no occasion for sharing the deeper things, for sharing the more sacred things in our relationship with God, because each one is free to go and do likewise. The deep things and the sacred things must be hidden within our own consciousness. The more we keep secret and sacred within us, the greater is the power." I'm just going to read the next part because I feel it is relevant. "Continuous inner meditation," he says, "continuous reaching towards the center of our being will eventually result in the experience of the Christ. In that moment, we discover the mystery of spiritual living. We do not have to take thought for what we shall eat, what we shall drink, or wherewithal we shall be clothed. We do not have to plan. We do not have to struggle." And by the Christ, he means the light within us. And this is the great fruitage of persisting with our meditation practice. Any comments or anything anyone would like to share? If you're watching the recording, please feel free to share any comments or thoughts in the comments section, even if you simply just want to connect and say hello. Oh, Glorian's posted another comment. She says, "Be vigilant for the quiet mind where we rest in God." Thank you for that, Glorian. Being vigilant in our focus of our true self, our true spiritual identity. Well, I hope you've enjoyed what we've shared today. I've included Crystal's contact details as well as my own in the description. If there are no more comments, then let's end with a very short meditation. At the end of the meditation, I'll say thank you, and then we'll leave in silence. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Okay, let's be still. Thank you. Thank you.